Have you ever felt like you were wearing a mask? Like something deep inside you is waiting to be discovered? Or worse, trying to be heard but ignored? Carl Jung believed we are more than what we pretend to be. That deep within each of us lies something ancient, powerful, and often misunderstood, the self. But modern life pulls us away from it. We chase success, fit into roles, and avoid discomfort. Meanwhile, the inner world grows louder. Jung wasn't just a psychiatrist. He was a philosopher, a mystic, and above all, a mapmaker of the soul. His work wasn't about fixing people. It was about helping them remember who they are. In this video, we explore Carl Jung's most transformative ideas, from the unconscious and the shadow to the archetypes and the sacred process of individuation. But this isn't just theory. This is philosophy for your personal transformation. Imagine your conscious mind, the part that thinks, plans, decides, as the tip of an iceberg. Everything below the surface, your instincts, traumas, inherited ideas, ancestral fears, is the unconscious. Jung divided this into two parts: the personal unconscious, your own forgotten memories, suppressed emotions, unmet desires, and the collective unconscious, deeper still, the shared psychic inheritance of all humankind. This is where archetypes live. Think of it like psychological DNA. Why do stories about heroes and monsters, mothers, and tricksters appear in every culture across time? Because they live inside all of us. Here's the challenge. The unconscious doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in symbols, in dreams, in slips of the tongue, in repetitive life patterns, in the people we're drawn to or repulsed by, in the things we fear but don't understand why. Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So how do you start? First, by listening to your dreams, to your emotional triggers, to the things that scare you most. They are messengers, guides, not to be feared, but followed. The unconscious isn't your enemy, it's your neglected ally. The shadow is perhaps Jung's most misunderstood concept. It's everything you don't want to be, but are. Your rage, your jealousy, your fear, your shame, but also your power, your confidence, your wildness, your creativity, if you've disowned those too. The shadow forms early in life when you're told, don't be too loud, don't cry, don't show off. Parts of you get buried, but buried doesn't mean gone. The shadow waits. It shows up in passive aggression, in self-sabotage, in projection, when we blame others for what we deny in ourselves. Ever hated someone for being arrogant, only to realize you're insecure about your own confidence? That's projection, and it's a shadow signal. Jung believed shadow work was essential for self-knowledge. He wrote, "The shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality, for no one can become conscious of the shadow without considerable moral effort." What does this look like in practice? Journaling what triggers you and asking why. Facing uncomfortable truths about your relationships. Honoring your anger, your need for boundaries, your sexuality, even if you've been taught to reject them. The shadow is the door. Integration is the key. Wholeness is what lies on the other side. Archetypes are the characters that live within us all. You've met them in stories: the hero, the sage, the outcast, the lover, the rebel. But what you may not realize is they aren't just in the story. They are the story. They shape how we see ourselves and how we live. Jung said, The archetype is a tendency to form such representations of a motif, representations that can vary a great deal in detail without losing their basic pattern. Let's look at a few. The hero strives, battles, overcomes, but may burn out if he never learns to rest. The animus, your inner feminine or masculine. Men often project the anima onto women, idealizing them. Women project the animus onto men, often seeking validation. The wise old man, woman, your inner guide. He or she appears in dreams when you're ready for truth. The trickster destroys your ego, plays with rules, teaches through chaos. We meet the trickster in times of deep upheaval. Here's the key. You aren't one archetype. You are many. And when they are unconscious, they use you. By observing your behaviors, patterns, and dreams, you begin to see who's steering the wheel. This is why Jung paid close attention to mythology and dreams, because these stories tell us what's happening inside. Want to grow? Learn your cast of characters. Then choose. Will you keep playing the same script or rewrite it? Self-improvement today often means adding more skills, more hacks, more hustle. But Jung's vision was different. He called it individuation, not becoming someone else, but becoming yourself, fully. Not just the parts you like, not just your ego, your titles, or your Instagram bio, the whole you. The process of individuation isn't linear. It's messy, strange, sacred. It requires 3 things. Differentiation, seeing that you are not your parents, society, or ego masks. Integration, reclaiming the shadow, listening to the unconscious, uniting opposites. Synthesis, becoming an inner harmony, a unified self, not perfect, but whole. Let's be clear, this journey is not without cost. You might lose friends, you might face loneliness, you might question everything you once believed, but in return, you'll gain something rare: authenticity, depth, inner peace. Jung said, wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. Individuation is the hero's journey turned inward. Are you willing to take it? The ego is the center of your consciousness. It says, I am this, I want that, I don't like this. But Jung warns, the ego is a servant, not the master. The true self is deeper. It includes the unconscious, the archetypes, the opposites. When the ego believes it's the only part that matters, it becomes rigid, fearful, defensive. Jung wrote, the world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you. Most people confuse their ego with their essence. They identify with their job, their political identity, their trauma. But individuation asks, who are you beneath all that? To serve the self, the ego must surrender. That doesn't mean disappearing. It means opening. It means moving from control to curiosity, certainty to mystery, identity to presence. The self speaks through dreams, symbols, synchronicities, those strange coincidences that feel like the universe is speaking. Listen, not with your head, with your soul. Jung saw neurosis not as an illness, but a sign the soul is being ignored. Many suffer not from too much, but from too little meaning. They live a life that looks fine on the outside, but feels dead inside. Jung wrote, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Healing, then, is not about perfection. It's about authenticity, meaning inner alignment. This is why Jungians explore dreams, art, myths, because healing happens through symbol, not spreadsheets. Ask yourself, what is my soul starving for? What dream, have I buried? What part of me cries out at night? Healing begins when you stop asking, what should I be? And start asking, who am I really? You were not born to play a role. You were born to live a myth, your myth. Jung never claimed to offer easy answers, only honest questions. You might feel lost, confused, overwhelmed by the task of finding yourself. Good, because finding yourself isn't the goal. Becoming yourself is. So walk the path. Study your dreams. Listen to your shadows. Follow the symbols. This is not just psychology. This is spiritual alchemy. And the gold you seek is within. You were not born to play a role. You were born to live a myth, your myth. Jung never claimed to offer easy answers, only honest questions. You might feel lost, confused, overwhelmed by the task of finding yourself. Good, because finding yourself isn't the goal. Becoming yourself is. So walk the path. Study your dreams. Listen to your shadows. Follow the symbols. This is not just psychology. This is spiritual alchemy. And the gold you seek is within.